What do you make of these polls? It seems like most of the polls, except for this Fox poll that came out recently, show the Democrat Jones to have a slight edge, okay? But the Fox people come out with a poll that shows Roy Moore with a 10-point lead. Do you believe that?
Well, I don't believe any of that right now. I don't think the polls actually believe it because they are using sort of voter models and likely voters that they're not altogether sure are accurate. Some voter models might suggest that Doug Jones can win by 8 or 9 points. Others say that Roy Moore by 10 points. And here's the whole thing with politics. It all depends on who shows up to vote. Okay? I believe that there's going to be a large turnout among the African American voters in Alabama. Keep your eye on Birmingham and the sort of the numbers there. See what those numbers are. The other issue is Senator Shelby said, he's a Republican senator, said, I'm not voting for Roy Moore. I did a write-in. The question is whether that gives voters permission actually to do the same thing. Even if they don't vote for Doug Jones because they can't bring themselves to voting for a Democrat, will they actually sort of write in somebody else
As Shelby did. He said he wrote another Republican in.
Correct.
And Shelby is establishment. He supports Alabama's established Republican hierarchy.
But he's also very popular in the state, far more popular than Roy Moore is. So the question is, will that give people permission not to vote for Roy Moore? Will heavy black turnout make a difference? Will young people turn out? All of those are wild cards. We just don't know until tomorrow.
You know, one school of thought is if Roy Moore loses, that's a good thing for Republicans, okay? Because then that issue, Roy Moore, alleged pedophile, that's gone. They come back for the next election and they get that seat back. Does that make sense?
To some extent, yes, but you can almost guarantee that the Democrats are going to put Roy Moore around every single Republican's neck because the Republican National Committee is supporting him, Donald Trump supporting him, any number of Republican leaders have sort of looked the other way and saying, you know, it's okay, we need that vote in the Senate. So even if he loses, he's still going to be an albatross on the Republican neck. But here's the other thing, if he does lose, then their margin in the Senate is down to 51-49. Think about this tax bill. They lose Bob Corker. There's a chance they might lose Susan Collins. If Doug Jones gets, sworn in before that vote is taken, it's possible that could sink the tax bill. But this is the consequence of nominating somebody with this type of background. And trust me, it's not just sexually predatory behavior. Roy Moore has basically said that every constitutional amendment after the 10th doesn't belong. You're talking about ending slavery, equal protection under the law, the foundation of civil rights, the right to vote for African Americans and for women, gone under Roy Moore's worldview. So once again, if you nominate an extremist, and he's an extremist not squared but cubed, okay? You nominate someone like that, you got to deal with the consequences.
Gotcha. Lenny Steinhorn.
Thank you, Bruce.
Appreciate it. Okay, man.